Hi everyone, welcome to the third video in our sequence describing how to make my online Math 0314 1314 Co-Rec class work for you. In this video, we're going to actually jump right into the nuts and bolts of daily life in our class, how we go about learning the mathematics that we want to learn in this class. So I'm going to right away share my screen and let you take a look. Minimize that. Okay, here we are. So I've already logged into my math lab, and you'll notice that as we've seen before, we have the two websites for Math 0314 and Math 1314, the two tiles. And let me reiterate from what we said on the previous email. The way we're designing this class is the material in Math 0314 is designed to provide the review you need just in time for the college algebra material. So because of that, I'm going to ask that you work on the Math 0314 assignments at the beginning of the week, and they are all going to be due on Thursdays. And then after that, work on the Math 1314 work, and that will all be due on Sundays. It'll be available all that time so you can work around whatever schedule constraints that you have. Now, the setup of both classes is exactly the same. So I'm going to just pick one of these classes. I'm going to pick the college algebra class and look in there. And what I'm going to say about assignments in this class work just as well in the other one. Okay, now, your day-to-day life. What you do first is you go to the button that says assignments. That's where you start. And when you open that up, you'll get a list of the currently available assignments. Right at the moment, I have week one and week two posted, and that will be the general pattern. The current week will always be open, and then the next week will be open in case you want to work ahead. Notice that the sections are labeled by whichever week that we're in. The deadlines are over here on the left, but they're also on your main page on that calendar. So you'll see it in a couple different places. And notice that the assignments jump back and forth between media and homework, media and homework, media and homework. Each section of our ebook that we're going to cover has a paired assignment like that. Now, over here, you'll see C-score. That indicates that it's an assignment that you have already started. You do not have to complete an entire assignment all at one time. You can go in, you can work on it for a while, you can leave it, you can come back and work on it some more. The C-score will show you what your current score is at the moment. The other thing I want to point out before we open one of these up and take a look is notice the little green flag right here. You will find out that every homework assignment, every assignment called homework, has a little green flag by it. And as you roll over it, you can see what's happening. You must score at least 100% on the week two media assignment before attempting to do this assignment. I have set the media assignments to be prerequisites for the homework assignment. You have to do the media first. Now, the reason for that is that the biggest mistake that students make in online math classes is just to bypass all of the learning materials available in the course and jump straight into the homework and just see, can I make it work? And what generally happens is people kind of flounder around, they try to guess, they search mindlessly and aimlessly across the YouTube universe trying to find some sort of video that looks something like the ones that they're doing. Terribly inefficient and terribly frustrating, and that's not the way you should do it. The media assignment is designed to be your lesson, to prepare you so that when you get into the homework, you know exactly what to do. Let's open up a homework assignment. They're not all precisely the same. The media assignments for those first two sections in chapter 5, notice the CA means it's a college algebra, so just in case you accidentally forget which course you're in. They're set up slightly differently, so they're not good examples. I want to open the media assignment for week 2 on section 1.3, and I'll show you around. So the media assignment consists of a number of things. The first icon in the list, it's hard to see what that is, but it's supposed to look like a little tiny book. That's the ebook. And I'm going to recommend that you start your study by reading the ebook. You may have heard many, many times in preparing for college that it's always a good idea to read the book before you come to class. Imagine that you have not yet come to class. This is that reading before the class. All these next videos, except the one on the end, and again, you may have trouble seeing this, but these look like little movie reels, the little film. These are videos, and this little purpley thing here is an animation, which is not exactly a video, it's more interactive than that. These are all materials that I have collected that are designed to basically serve as your lecture. They will teach you what you need to learn from this particular section. Let's take a quick glance at one and just let it run and see what, oh no, I haven't done the homework with the book yet, gotta go back. We'll take a look at those in a minute. I meant before we do that, at the very, very end, the last icon is a PowerPoint. That serves as a good wrap up. Let's start at the top, not at the middle. Let me open up the ebook and let you take a look at what this looks like. As you'll see, it takes a few minutes to load. Now, reading a book in mathematics is something people think, ugh, reading a math book. And that's because reading a math book takes a few different skills than just reading a regular, like a novel. You can't just sort of prop yourself up in bed with a bowl of popcorn and start reading and just enjoy it. In a math book, you really have to read actively. And by actively, I mean with pencil and paper nearby. So you want to have a notebook nearby to write in. And as you read the book, things that are highlighted, and in this book they tend to be highlighted in green, those are key concepts. And what you should do with those is write them down in your notebook, because these are the big ideas. The very act of writing something down helps make a connection between your body and your brain that actually helps you learn far better than just looking. So very important to write it down, anything that's major. It also slows you down enough to think about whether you actually understand what's being said or not. So start with that. Now you can go page by page, and you'll see some other diagrams and so forth. Pay real close attention to those diagrams. There are things in the sidebar that are often very, very useful, and definitions as you go. As you get to examples, like down here, work the example along with the book. Now, one thing you'll find out is that books tend to, in the interest of saving money on space, will not necessarily show you every step. What you want to make sure that you can do is that you can see every step that they've taken. So you write each step along with them and ask yourself, do I see how I went from here to here? Or is there a partway step that I should be paying attention to first? Very, very useful to do that. As we go on, we're going to see that there's more of these, more examples, and they, move around from topic to topic. There are also cautionary statements like you see right here, and other things that they emphasize in other colors. Anything in another color is worth taking a look at. And again, follow along with the examples, copy them on your paper, and ask yourself, do I see how they went from here to here, or is there a missing step? I also meant to say before I clicked advance, I can do it right here. You'll notice these little icons over here. These link to videos. Now we're going to be talking about videos later. The videos that link from here tend to be very, very short ones that specifically work that particular problem. So if watching it on the book is not quite enough, watching the video that connects to the book might help you with that. Now, as you go through the book, do not worry if you don't get everything that they're talking about. That's completely normal. What the book does is it more or less gets your brain ready. There will be some ideas that you'll catch, major ideas, and some things that will leave a big blank. When you're taking your notes in your notebook, if you hit a line that doesn't make any sense, write that down too. Just say, I didn't get that. I didn't get how he added these two numbers together, for example. And the reason you want to do that is because when we go to the videos, you'll sort of be keyed in for what you really need to pay attention to. So that's where we start with the book. I'm just going to make sure I talked about everything that I want to. So don't stress if the book doesn't make complete sense. It is only step one in the learning process. So just write down what you don't understand. And in step two, I think you'll see how that comes together. Let me go ahead and close up the ebook. Now, the videos. The videos are basically like a lecture. So if you were in class, you would hear your professor speaking about the class, writing on the board, and talking to you and giving you ideas and hints and concepts and so forth. That's what the videos do, except you get to watch them at home at your convenience. You don't get to ask a question of a video. That's a downside, but you can't rewind a professor and make him say it over again. So there's a plus. Now, let me just open a quick video and we're going to take about like 10 seconds and watch the first few seconds just to see how it goes. It'll pop open like this. Notice that this particular one is actually a YouTube video. And when you click on this.
Hi, this is Dr. John Burghduff. In this video, we're going to explore the complex number system. And in particular, we're going to be looking at sets of numbers that we talk about in mathematics all the time and how they relate to one another, and introducing, for the first time, the concept of imaginary and complex numbers.
Okay, and I'm going to pause that right there because you're going to get to see that at another time. Notice over here, the video is closed captioned. All of our videos are closed captioned. Many of them are stored on the YouTube server. Some of them are on the server of Pearson Publishing, but they're all closed captioned. A few of them are also translated into Spanish. Okay, so if you look at some of these videos, this next one is one that was created by several professors hired by Pearson to prepare a video for them. These here come from Khan Academy. I always make a point to credit if I am using a video from elsewhere. Khan Academy is a wonderful resource they do a great job explaining concepts. Sometimes a little bit hard to find the exact video that you need for what you're doing. So I do borrow from them sometimes. I borrow from some of my colleagues, and some of these are ones that I've created myself. This little thing here is called an animation, and we're going to let that open up real quickly. This may take a second to link as well. An animation is much like a video, but it is a little bit more interactive. Let's see if we can speed it up a little bit. Well, is it going to misbehave on me? Well, it's working a little bit earlier. Well, my apologies for that. There seems to be something wrong with that one at the moment, but it will ask you to participate as you watch the video. Now, if you look at the ebook to prepare yourself to learn and think of all of these videos and animations as your lecture, so to speak, the wrap-up is the PowerPoint. That will generally be the last link that I have. And the PowerPoint is a great way just to sort of check yourself. Did I get everything that I was supposed to get out of this section? Because it will have slides with ideas, and between the notes you took and watching the videos, you hopefully will see everything here, all the concepts repeating again. It's like, did I see that? Yes, I did. Did I miss something? I don't remember anybody talking about that. Well, that might mean you need to go back to the ebook or back and rewatch some of the videos because something got past you somehow. So the PowerPoint is a good sum up, wrapping it all up at the end. You'll see that some sections do not have all of these different features in them. That generally is because there was something about that particular element that I thought was not going to be as helpful as it could be, and I decided to leave that out. So This is your media assignment. Yes, it will take you a while to get through this, but when you do, you'll already have an excellent idea of how to work the problems in this section, and you will have seen a number of examples. You've actually written a few of them down as well. So once you get past the media assignments, the next thing to do is to jump into the homework. Now you'll notice that I still have my green flag there. I have to look at every element in the media assignment and get full credit for that before I can access the homework. However, since I'm the teacher, I can get around some things. So I'm going to do that and jump right into the homework. So this is what the homework will look like. You'll see a link to a whole bunch of different questions, excuse me. It is probably best to take them in order, but you can skip around. And certainly if there's one that you're stuck on, you can skip over it and come back to it. Like I mentioned before, you do not have to do all this in one sitting. You can work on it for a while, leave, take a break, come back, pick up right where you left off. Although this one looks long, there's many of these questions that are like quick yes, no answers. It's not nearly as long as you might think. Now, although I suggested we start at the beginning, in this particular example, I want to start with question number 12 because it happens to have some things I can show off there that are important for you to see. So here's a mathematical question involving simplifying with complex numbers. And if you at the moment don't know what that's talking about, do not worry. You're going to know by the time you get there, so don't worry too much. You'll see that they have a blank for you to enter your answer. So you're going to work the problem and hopefully have an answer. Sometimes in small letters in blue below that, there'll be some statement about the format that they want the answer in. Pay attention to that because the program is strict about if you don't use the right format, it will tell you that. Let's click on the little answer box and see what happens. So as I click that box, notice that I get some templates down here on the bottom. These enable me, for example, to do fractions, exponents, absolute values, square roots, subscripts, ordered pairs, and so forth. So now I'm just jumping in. Please don't think that I'm going to say this is the right answer here. Suppose I think the answer is a fraction. I click this icon to get a fraction. And maybe the numerator has a square root in it, so I can click the square root. And then I just use my keyboard to put, let's say, 7. And maybe the denominator has an absolute value in it, and you put in maybe -3. That's how you input your answer using those templates. Once you have worked an example, you can check immediately to see whether you got it right. Now, how many people believe that I just got that right by chance? I did not. Check the answer, and it will tell me if it's wrong, it'll tell me I'm wrong, and it'll tell me what I should have done, which gives me some clue about where I could go from there. So let's say that I really did have as much trouble with this question as I seem to have. What can I get for help? Okay, notice this little link up here that says question help. This gives you a number of options of what you can do. I like help me solve this. This is a great one because what it will do is it will talk you through a similar example. And hopefully as you do so, it'll connect in with what you saw in one of the videos because everything is covered in the videos. What it does is it just gives you a little hint step by step by step, and it asks you to participate by giving it partial answers. So for example, this one says, begin by finding the largest negative perfect square factor of the radicand. We'll find out radicand is simply the number under the radical. And if you look at -40, you could factor that as -4 times 10. So it's just talked to you just one little step, and then you can check to make sure you're on the right track. And this is what you get whenever you get a correct answer, you get a nice affirmation. And it says, okay, great, you've got that so far. Let's take it a little bit farther. It offers you another step or two. You just hit continue. Again, it will ask you to, from time to time, to figure out what you think should go in the blank. In this case, the square root of -4, and if you don't know this yet, don't worry. It turns out to be 2i. So I put that in and I ask myself, yep, I got that right too. And then I just keep going and it talks me through step by step by step. And in doing so, then that'll give you an idea of how to work the problem that you had. Notice it's not necessarily the same one. It might be, but it's probably not. There's another kind of help, and that's called view an example. Almost the same thing, except it doesn't ask you to participate. It just takes you step by step, and it tells you everything. That's okay. I really like the other option better because it does have you participate and think about what you should do as you go. There's also a link to a video for many of these. If there's a specific video that addresses the exact type of question we're looking at, it's probably similar to or even is one of the videos you've already seen, but you can link straight to it and watch it again and get some more ideas. You can also link to the textbook, and that's really awesome. It goes immediately to the portion of the textbook that covers whatever this problem relates to, so you don't have to hunt around a lot, and you can look at the examples in the textbook too. I'm going to skip over this one just incredibly briefly. If you like to work things pencil and paper, you can also print your question and work on it on paper and then come back and enter your answer. This link is incredibly important. Ask my instructor. Every assignment has this. If you are working a question and you just get really stuck and the other help screens do not help, press this. What it does is it generates an email directly to me where you can type in what you are having trouble with. And the great thing is, if you've partially worked the problem, it will actually email me the work you've completed so far, so I can take a look at it and hopefully from that diagnose what you did wrong. So make good use of this when you get stuck. Click the Ask My Instructor, say I got as far as simplifying, as factoring the number under the radical, and then I just really lost it from there. And I will write you back as soon as I can, and we'll just keep that going, and that will really be good. So make use of these help screens too. I think if you've done your media assignment well, you won't need them too much, but they are there to help. Now, if you have a problem that you're working on, and when you get done with it, you realize, okay, I got it, and I got the right answer, but boy, did I stumble through that. Try it again. Let me show you what we can do. I'm going to show you this on an easier or different question that is faster. We'll go ahead and leave that. Here's a question I got right. Question number 1. And the little green check marks tell me that I got it correct. But let's say I got it and I thought, you know, I just don't know if I'm confident in what I did. Notice that if you've got a question you've already done, down here, this little icon here that usually says check your answer now says similar question. And what that will simply do is generate another question of the same type, but with different numbers. And you can try it again. And ideally, if you have something that really gives you trouble, try it a few times until you're really getting fast at it, kind of like practicing. You may not be good at your jump shot in basketball right away. You practice it for a while, you get better. So you can do these over and over and over as much as you want. One other comment about homework as we go through this. The numbers in the homework are, they say, algorithmically generated. What that means is these numbers in the problem change each time you try a new problem and for each person. So you might get -6, I might get +14, someone else might get 3 times I. All different. That means that each time you try it, you're not just doing the same problem over again. And I strongly encourage collaboration. If you get to know some people in the class and you can set up an email exchange with them or even a text messaging or something along those lines, helping each other is great, but you won't have just exactly the same problem. So you can't just copy off of someone. You can learn from someone and have dialogue. And that is really, really a great thing to do. Great. Now, again, you can work your assignments and as long as you want and up until the deadline. So if you get, say, an 84 the first time through, you don't have to be satisfied with that. Go back through, give me another problem, give me a similar problem for anything you missed, and just work on it until you've got it perfect. And that would be great. Now, one thing I want to point out before we end, when you go into the assignments, and I'm just going to go ahead and quit out of that particular assignment. Like I said before, what you'll see here in your assignment link is everything for the current week and for the next week. Once things have passed by, you'll see they gray out, which means you can't work on them anymore. The media assignments will stay live permanently, so you can always go back and watch videos, but you can't go back and redo the homework. This does only show the first 2 weeks though, and so let me show you one other thing. I didn't show you this last time, so I will now. When you click the syllabus link, notice that there's a sublink for that for calendar. This is just the calendar from the syllabus, nothing else, just the calendar. And this shows the entire semester with every due date all the way up into December. You might want to print this out and have it somewhere where you can sort of look ahead and keep track of how long is it till the next test, what chapter is coming next. Maybe you might realize that you're going to be really, really busy one week. So you think, I think I'll kind of rush ahead and work ahead the week before. It kind of lets you know what's coming up. Okay, that's a little bit about assignments. And this is how you both learn the material in the class, in the media assignments, and practice what you're learning in the homework. The next thing we're going to talk about is taking tests, and that will be in the next video. So thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you in the next video.